Hey there, my name is Camille Pond and I run Spiritual Integration, and I'm just now starting to grow and start my YouTube channel. All my content has been over on Instagram, but I'm wanting to grow my network, grow my community, and go a little deeper into what spiritual integration is and why I started it. A few years ago, I was living in San Juan, Puerto Rico, and I came across a breathwork workshop on a rooftop and felt very called to check it out. I've heard really good things about holotropic breathwork, the Wim Hof method. That session from then on changed my life, and how that happened was me going into this experience in a fully surrender state, not knowing what would arise, what I would experience. A lot arise for me. Past trauma, emotions that I didn't know I was still holding. And while all this was coming to the surface, I remember just laying there and being like, sorry, I'm getting emotional. This is energy that's been stuck in my body, and you kind of, it all clicks and you're like, we are all made of energy, right? And we have been programmed and told to resist and hold on to old beliefs, and it's in control. And from an ego standpoint, it's really hard to really understand. We all have energy we need released, because from when we're little, to past lives, we're holding on a lot within our body, right? So when we start to consciously breathe, when we're in that breathing session, you just don't know what's gonna rise. You'll start crying, you could laugh, you could drool. And after an hour and a half session, I realized this is legit medicine for the human body, the brain, our spirit. And so from then on, I took a couple more workshops throughout different retreats in Oregon, and from then on I was hooked. I started doing it on my own weekly, maybe once a day. Once you kind of hit this enlightenment state, you can't stop. I want to shift gears a little bit and talk about the benefits of breath work and why it's so powerful. So with breath work, when we're consciously breathing, it's putting us in a parasympathetic nervous system state, which is basically taking us from fight or flight, which we're used to being in, right? Our brain's kind of like, what's gone wrong? What's wrong? And we're kind of fast to, act and react. But with this parasympathetic nervous system state, it really activates that vagus nerve, and you really just come into the body and feel this higher vibration, this higher consciousness, this connection to soul, this connection to source energy. It's opening that crown chakra. And when we feel this parasympathetic nervous system state activated, it's a game changer. And from then on, you can experience intense enlightenment, a little bit of lightheadedness, but that's part of the process. You have lightheadedness, you have numb hands, numb face, and this is just all a chemical normal reaction to this conscious breathing. But when we really surrender, and when we really come into that parasympathetic nervous system state, you feel this sense of peace. And I grew up with anxiety, and I used to have panic attacks, and breathing like this actually doing the breath work reminds me of when I was having those panic attacks, because you're getting activated and my hands were clamping, I'm feeling numb. But then when you're consciously breathing and you're having those same symptoms, you're like, oh my gosh, I have the control to experience this, but in a helpful, healthy way that's actually bringing medicine to my body and helping me release energy. And so first, that's the first benefit. Second benefit, it releases trauma and pain. A lot of people who aren't really experienced with, plant medicine or spiritual practices, yoga, EFT, sound healing, all of these modalities, we hold a lot of energy and we don't realize it. And so while practicing breath work, it's really a relief to see this energy releasing, this pain that you've been holding on to, whether it be in your solar plexus, whether you feel a lot of release from your heart space. We just hold on to so much, and through breathing, you release so much, and it's just the most beautiful cleansing feeling after. And that's where I just became obsessed and started practicing this daily, because the more I released what didn't serve me any longer from an energy perspective, allowing these new higher frequencies to just enter my field. And that's when you really realize, I am more than just this body. I am more than just this mind. I am more than just this personality, this identity. I am energy. I am from the source of God. I am source energy. I am energy from the universe. And through this practice, you connect to your higher self, you connect to your soul. And when you connect to your soul, everything shifts, because you're getting to know this higher part of you, this higher self of you. And downloads will start coming through. You'll start receiving messages from not only your higher self, but your spirit guides. If you believe in spirit guides, if you believe in, archangels, we have a lot of support here on earth from our spirit team. And you really just have to open up your heart and your vision and connect to your higher self to experience these downloads and these light codes that are coming through to help us navigate how to release and deprogram this old way of being and living, and really coming into this higher consciousness, this higher power. It's basically a fast track to sovereignty and inner peace. Breathwork is an opportunity to identify what your soul wants, what you're actually meant here to be, and what you're meant here to do. So I want to give you an example. I'm an extremely sensitive person, to the point where I would lock myself in the bathroom when I was younger, because if I was watching a movie and this sad scene happened, I didn't know how to handle the sensitivity and emotions that I was feeling, and I would get embarrassed and shut down and go in the bathroom and just bawl my eyes out. And this was a really hard way to navigate growing up, how to be empowered as a sensitive empath. And I feel that my purpose and my mission through this journey that I've had with breathwork and tuning into my higher self and releasing a lot of karmic patterns and blocks and old identities and patterns, I've really entered this new consciousness where I feel very called to just help people release what no longer serves them. And it's not an easy thing to do, right? Breathwork, it's a commitment. It's difficult. Some days I don't want to sit down and have this experience, but every time I do it, it just elevates me and really takes me to a higher place and higher consciousness, and just continues to push me to be my best self, my highest self, pushes me to be more inspired, creative, and connects me to higher vibrational people. Because when we're consciously breathing, when we're raising that vibration and keeping that in our field, we attract what we're becoming. And so that's another thing I wanted to quickly touch on. I don't want to make this video too long. The more we intentionally tap into this practice, breath work, we continue to stay in this higher radiant energy. And it's inspiring not only to ourselves. After every time I have a session with myself or with a client, I'm very inspired. This is just, breathwork has been getting a little trendy, but it's becoming trendy for a reason. It's very therapeutic. It's healing medicine. It's literally healed and cured my anxiety, my depression. I no longer have an overactive mind, and if I do, I just tune in, go into a session and get into my body, connect to my higher self and get guidance. through journaling. A lot of times people get visualizations. You know, the reason I started spiritual integration is because the more we connect to this higher realm, this higher consciousness, it's really hard to come back down to earth and ground, because the energies on earth are a lot more dense than we are in a breathwork session, feeling into this light, this love frequency. It's really hard to navigate both of these worlds. The word integration really struck me because I think for me, I'm really trying to learn how to balance, you know, connecting and being in this energy of 5-dimensional vibration versus 3D, which is, you know, earth energy, and how just to navigate and live my day-to-day life by balancing both, right? And the more I can balance that, you know, it's sustainable, and it's beautiful to share my experience with others. I'm gonna end with just saying, yeah, I offer one-on-one breathwork sessions virtually, and we basically do introductions, run through a 20-minute breathwork session. I'll guide you through the whole thing, and then we end with a debrief. How did that feel? What came up for you? And just really dive deep into what arose and talk about it and help you navigate next steps and what inspiration you gathered from your experience. And I'm so passionate about breathwork and the transformative effects it has had on my life, and I want to help people raise their vibration and release blocks that are keeping them stuck and stagnant. We are so stuck in a lot of ego, doubtful thoughts, and so it's fogging us and not allowing us to really experience connecting in and having that clarity and inner peace to really take the leap and do what we are meant to do. Comes this time where, for my experience, my anxiety in Puerto Rico got so bad that it was out of control. It was the first time I had lost control of, you know, my anxiety and fear was taking over my body. I was experiencing weight loss, you know, small panic attacks, suicidal, not even crazy suicidal thoughts, but just weird thoughts that I've never had before. And that's when everything clicked, and I was like, I am not okay. And I think that's what also I wanted to touch on, is really get in tune with yourself and be honest and say, I want guidance. I want to elevate towards a higher path and a higher purpose, and I know that this stuck energy and this stagnant state that I'm in is not gonna work, right? And I think once you admit that to yourself, that's when you can have the intention and the passion to step forward and take the leap, do the work every single day. It's uncomfortable, it's painful, a lot arises, but every day the commitment I make to my breathwork practice, miracles happen in my life. I connect to my higher self. I take the leap, I take action, I manifest, and more abundance and true happiness comes in. And that's truly an authentic statement. And I'm so passionate about this work, and I have my website linked here on my YouTube channel. And again, I offer one-on-one virtual breathwork sessions, and I'm just so excited to start posting content onto YouTube and connecting with others and sharing my spiritual gifts and what's come through for me, and how I can be there for others who are going through a similar journey, or who want to get on the journey and the path. And it's all just really exciting. And thank you if you watched this whole thing, appreciate it. And please reach out via email. I have my email on my website as well if you want to connect, if you have questions. Also my social media links, Instagram. And I hope y'all have a beautiful, beautiful day. Stay positive, stay hopeful. Life is short, and let's just come into sovereignty and live a blissful life that we are here to have. Namaste. Bye.